Hey everybody, welcome. Larry Vella here.
I'm Abe.
Got Abe, and welcome to our new show. Welcome to the BoLS Tabletop Hour.
We've got a tabletop.
We have a tabletop
And 1 hour.
and we have 1 hour, and you guys.
Yes.
So we're excited. This is our whole. We have a whole new show that's going to be coming to you guys at this time every week, forever. So
Every day, every
week, every week,
once
a
this
week
time?
at this
Monday?
time. Yes,
This time.
on
Okay.
Mondays at this time. Ta-da!
Ta-da.
So, and what we're going to be doing on our show is we're here to just talk about what is going on this week in tabletop gaming.
Mm-hmm.
From, whatever the big news is from all the various companies that's out there. Obviously, this is our very first show.
Yeah.
So we have 3 big things that we're talking about that we want to show you guys and talk about today. First of all, we're going to be talking about Deathwatch. Ooh, just announced yesterday, in fact. From Games Workshop. That's going to be the next codex that's coming up for Warhammer 40,000.
We're watching out for it.
A little later in the show, we're going to be talking about Worlds, which is going on, I think it starts tomorrow, maybe Tuesday. That is
Tomorrow
the big...
is Tuesday.
This is true, tomorrow is Tuesday. FFG's big annual tournaments for all of their games, that is going on in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And all kinds of, we'll talk about all the various games that are going on and what's going on over there. And then we're going to wrap it up with just got in a whole new game, a whole new Warhammer 40,000 game from iello that I don't think anyone has seen before. So we're going to, and it's still in the shrink wrap.
Yeah.
So we're going to tear that thing open and we're going to tell you guys all about Heroes of Blackreach Drop Zone and what this thing is and what it's about. We're all going to learn together.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, so guys, settle in, have fun. We have the servo skull that controls our show is clearly set for 1 hour. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, look, the magic servo skull has given us an X-Acto blade.
So only one of us gets to walk away from this show today.
Welcome to BoLS Tabletop Hour. 2 gamers enter, 1 gamer leave.
I didn't sign up for this.
It's so good. All right, Deathwatch.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Well, they're going to be an interesting book.
I'm going to move this X-Acto blade down here because it's freaking me out. There we go.
They sound like, from the rumors that we've been hearing,
Yep.
like they may be one of the new codexes that get some real change.
Okay.
Right? Because we've been hearing all these rumors that they're going to get all the Primaris stuff into them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really going to change up their codex, as opposed to some of the other codexes we've seen coming out that are just updating the rules. Nothing new is added to them, really.
Sure. I mean, Deathwatch is one of the newer armies.
Right.
They were introduced in the second half of 7th.
Mm-hmm.
They came into the game alongside, what was it called? Deathwatch Overkill.
Yeah.
Kill Team Over? Yes, Deathwatch. Yeah, the big box set, which is when they brought hybrids back. And, of course, they were the ideal opponent for hybrids.
Right.
They brought them back. The big box game came out, all you guys remember, and everyone lost their minds. And then they got a codex very shortly there.
Found them. Well,
Right.
the lictors found them lines.
Yes, that's true. I mean, they found a bunch of hybrids and killed all of them.
Yeah.
Because for those of you who remember playing Deathwatch Overkill, that was definitely the... if you like Hero Hammer, that was the board game for you. And then we got this codex. Look, we have the codex! It's the Deathwatch Codex
Except
from 7th edition.
Yeah.
This is not the brand new one.
No.
It's the old one. But we have it here for comparison, so we can kind of go through it. And then we have Index Imperium 1, which has the 8th edition, the current incarnation of Deathwatch, Deathwatch. There we go. Let's talk about a little bit what we expect. Definitely, Primaris Marines in Deathwatch isn't a surprise because technically they already are. They put out the little 2-page PDF.
Sure.
Right after, about a month or two after all the indexes came out, right at the start of 8th. That was hey, stop the presses. Here you go. Here's the big list of all the Primaris things, and you can add them to your Deathwatch forces. But it was, it was clearly just a stopgap to get you by. They didn't, they were just straight units that you could just add to your army. They didn't gain any abilities. They weren't really integrated into the army. It was simply, hey, if you have Primaris Marines and you want to paint them black, cool. They're Deathwatch now.
Sweet. So, I think the ability to mix and match and what special rules they may get, because currently all the other Deathwatch models give, their kill teams at least get special rules from what models are in it. So seeing what units get what rules from having the different Primaris Marines in them, if those give special rules, and just seeing how that affects everything, I think will be really cool for the Deathwatch. I think that's going to add a lot of power into their list. I mean, one of the issues that Deathwatch have traditionally is simply they're really awesome, but at the end of the day, they're still just Marines.
They are still Marines. They're very. I mean, you pretty much don't see Deathwatch in 40K right now.
Right.
You know, it's definitely considered. I'd say they're. I mean, lower third. Probably one of like the worst like 2 or 3 armies in the game right now.
I mean, they're probably better.
They're just so expensive.
I mean,
they're
really. They're probably better than Grey Knights. Which is what we can say about the Deathwatch.
I don't know. I would not go that far. I think that they. I mean, I've always been a fan of the Corvus Blackstar. I think the Corvus Blackstar is one of the most interesting units in the game.
The Corvus Blackstar is a great unit.
Yeah, I mean, it is the transport every other Space Marine unit, chapter wishes they had. It's quick, it's well armed. It's really durable, and it can carry Terminators and Bikers.
Yeah, and we'll see if it gets to carry Primaris Marines.
Oh, it better. If they come up with some crazy reason that's like, yep, you can fit bikes in this thing,
but Primaris Marines are just too big. Nope.
So
you can't, and then your entire army will just fall apart, and it'll be really sad.
Yeah, so I doubt they're going to do that. So the Corvus was great. It's just on a per man basis, they're just so expensive. I mean, special issue ammo is really amazing. Kind of the mix and matching special rules that we see in the 8th edition army list is really cool.
And I think if just intercessors with their 3 pretty cool bolt rifles, auto bolt rifles, stock bolt rifles, if they get special ammo alone,
oh yeah,
I mean that's going to be really cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you want to see intercessors instantly come back and being used, give them all Hellfire rounds
or Kraken bolts, and suddenly they're all AP2.
Ugh.
Right.
That's true. All of those guys shooting at AP.
Yeah, at 36-inch range.
Oh, you know who hates that? Like, actually, almost everybody hates.
Yeah.
There's that, but like in particular, the guys who are really expensive and have 4-up armor that will basically just go down to 6.
Sure.
So like Aspect War, Eldar, Tau, all the good
yeah.
Scion armies.
In a lot of ways, Vengeance rounds are perfect for them because they have a 30-inch range. So subtracting 6 from your range gives you a 24-inch range, which is normal. And then you go to AP -3.
Ugh.
Which is pretty... So Vengeance rounds are minus range, improve AP of 2 by 2. Kraken bolts are add range, improve by AP by 1.
Oh man,
So either of those are great.
You're right. I'd take the Vengeance rounds.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, massed.
Yeah.
AP3 fire from like your line infantry. That would, that like puts Tau to shame.
No, that's great. So I think just that alone would be really great. It'll be really cool to see if you can throw a Hellblaster or 2 into your squads, because Hellblasters are, I think, pretty much bar none the best unit in the Space Marine book.
Yes,
I don't think there's anything that competes with Hellblasters.
I would agree.
And Hellblaster's big weakness, of course, is that you have to take units of all Hellblasters. So any models you lose are Hellblasters. But if I can pad my Hellblasters out,
with just dudes,
with some other combination of dudes, and mix those in, that's pretty great. So we'll see how that all works.
I'm going back over the 7th edition codex just to get ideas, because obviously most of the units have pulled over and they're going to bring the units over. They're going to add all the Primaris. There's going to be mixing and matching in some ways, but I did want to go back and take a look at the things like relics and warlord traits, because those things are going to give us a good idea of what they maybe do actually have in plan for these guys. And so looking at that, relics, they used to have we have Bane Bolts of Erexia. Those are just basically superior. It's just a better gun. Of course, we're going to see stuff like that. The Beacon Angelus, that was a superior teleport homer, which back in the days when you would deviate, now you didn't. Don't know what an equivalent of that would be. In theory, you might have teleport homers, and this is an army that does use teleport homer tricks.
Yes.
Right. This is one of the big teleport homer armies. So in 8th edition, you might see things like the direct corollary that we've seen is the Custodes. They have superior teleport homers, which let them teleport closer. Right. Everyone in the game can teleport within 9-inch. Custodes can teleport within 3 inches,
If
right?
they're-
I could easily see there being a relic that maybe lets you teleport, 6 or
6 inches,
or something, closer.
That'd be pretty crazy.
The Dominus Aegis, that is, if you don't move, you gain a 4-up invulnerable next turn. Yeah, I could do that. That just transfers. That would transfer straight over.
I mean, honestly, this day and age is probably just gives you a 4-up.
Probably, that's true.
The vulnerable saves are much more common nowadays.
The Osseous Key is a clavis, and they really better make the clavis better in 8th edition, because the clavis is super cool. It opens everything. Basically, it already, I forget what it does. It's in there. It does like it messes up vehicles. It's like an anti-vehicle thing because it shorts them out basically. But
I mean, my big hope, the clavis. Where's the clavis in
here? It should be something that the Watchmaster has.
Yeah.
Or is it not in there? Did they get rid of the clavis?
No, I think it's just one of his options.
In general, the clavis needs to go back. It may actually be one of the things that's in chapter approved. It might have been one of the things that they actually.
Oh, is that what it was?
They may have given him the clavis back in there.
I just hope more people in the army get to have Guardian Spears because it's hilarious.
No, only the Watchmaster, because it's the most amazing thing ever.
I think now that
I mean, it does really take a lot of the magic away from it. Now that the Custodes are there,
Well,
and you're like, I'm one of the most amazing guys in the galaxy, and because I'm a super amazing Watchmaster with centuries of service, they gave me this Guardian Spear, and now there's like, my whole army has this.
I mean, I think they should just allow
That's just sad.
you to take Custodes in your Deathwatch. There you go. I want to have my unit with a Custodes Warden and 3 Hellblasters and a Biker and a Black Shield. And it's just going to be... The Death Guard are just going to be... Deathwatch are just going to be like, just take whatever. Just grab a handful of your Imperium models and your army is legal now. I think I saw an actual sneak preview. Games Workshop may have unintentionally released this today.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so I was messing around with the new armor builder that they've got.
Okay.
On Warhammer Community.
The power level only?
Yeah, power level only. You can check it out.
Army builder, sure.
And it was looking at Deathwatch because I was like, hey, this will be fun. Let's see if they put anything in there.
Okay.
And I noticed you could build a 25-man strong kill team.
That's a typo.
You could have...
That's like totally a database.
You could have 10 regular guys and 5 Terminators and 5
Hellblasters.
5 backpack jump Marines and 5 bikes in your squad. So obviously it's a database error with because you can have 5 men and you can add up to 5 comprised of any of these other options. But they must have made a mistake. So that's my theory though. It's not a mistake. It is a sneak peek. You heard it here. Rumors are saying 25.
It's not even a rumor. I mean, that's based on actual data. You can just go to the website and look at it.
You go to the website right now, and you should print that and take it to a tournament because that's apparently official.
I went to Warhammer Community, and that's what it says. It's
a 25-man kill team, and it would be great.
That is a cut and paste error in Excel, is what that is. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that's my big rumor about them. No, I'm excited for Deathwatch. They're an interesting army. It's always good to see them get a little... one of the small armies get a little more fleshed out.
Sure.
And a little more able to play because they are a very hard army to use right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall we're going to see a big point reduction across the board.
Mm-hmm.
There just has to be. I mean,
sure.
Because the model count is just...
The model count's really low.
Custodes at least... I mean, this was the game's previous Super Elite army before Custodes came out. Well, and they really got it right with Custodes because the model count's tiny, but they all have 3-up save. Really? I mean, they all have 2-up armor and multiple wounds and high toughness. But these guys are just Marines. They're still just toughness 4 with 1 wound. So they just wilt when they start taking casualties.
Your Deathwatch army has about as many models as your Custodes army a lot of the times.
Yeah, which is totally wrong.
Your Deathwatch armies aren't that big.
Yep.
So it's interesting. We'll see if they become strong enough to really be a competitive army standalone. I'm also just interested from a cheesy tournament player standpoint of like what cool stratagems they're gonna get and whether it'll be worth throwing a detachment of Deathwatch into other armies to get access to some really cool stratagems and things like that.
Maybe.
So we'll see about that. That'll be interesting to see. Because Deathwatch are one of those armies that I feel should have a lot of really crazy stratagems.
Correct. Right? Exactly. This is the army that I mean, they show up out of this was the really scary drop in out of nowhere, kill Xenos, leave, and has all of the really rare exotic war gear that the Imperium doesn't give to everybody else.
Yeah.
That was their shtick before the Custodes came around. So I totally expect these guys to have all kinds of weird... Like, this is the army that should have weird they should have really weird relics.
Sure.
And they should have really weird stratagems.
And I mean, in a lot of ways, the Custodes don't have like weird stuff, right?
Right.
They have really rare stuff, but they only have like 5 different things.
Right.
Like the entire Custodes army is like, I've got Guardian Spears, and I've got Castellan Axes, and I've got grenade launchers and Sentinel Blades.
I
and
would
then lances. Like, those are the Custodes weapons.
I would love if Deathwatch actually had sub factions based on like what, because it talks about how the different watch fortresses in different parts of the galaxy are organized differently, and basically a watchmaster can, once he's put in charge of a watch fortress, it's basically his personal fiefdom. He can do whatever the heck he wants to with it. So you could definitely see like different watchmasters with different philosophies of battle.
Definitely.
Just
it
organizing
would be
Deathwatch
interesting. I could clearly see some kind of either stratagem or special ability that tailors the army either at the beginning of the game or when you build it to fighting specific factions, right?
Absolutely. That would completely be...
Yeah.
It would be neat because other armies don't do that, and it fits how they work.
Absolutely.
Which is, they go out to hunt a particular opponent, and they have stuff to make them better against that particular type of Xenos. I
did see something floating around this morning that was purported to be some kind of leak of things, but it was in German, so I could not read it. So I don't know if it's real or what it says.
You do not sprechen?
I don't. Well, I wouldn't even Sprechen wouldn't help me. I'd have to however you say reading in German.
No, this is true. So, I think that's Deathwatch.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
And like I said, we're personally excited just because
we are personally excited.
We do have an army here.
Yeah, we have a Deathwatch army. We will certainly be playing that as soon as we...
is sitting quietly in the background like, oh my gosh, I get a new army!
Yes, it is Mars' army, not ours.
I cannot play with the index right now. So.
It is Mars's. She is our Deathwatch player, and she is very, very excited. As soon as we get our hands on that codex, you better bet we will be writing about it, talking about it, posting about it, playing games with it. So all kinds of cool Deathwatch stuff is. We have a big Deathwatch army ready to go.
And you know what? If the Corvus Blackstar goes down like 50% of points, I won't be sad.
I'll be very happy.
We'll have to get into a couple of them.
I know.
Is it a dedicated? It's a flyer, isn't it?
You go look it up.
It's not a dedicated transport.
You go
probably.
look it up.
Which vehicle are we looking at?
The Corvus.
I think it's just like a heavy support.
I mean, it would be a flyer.
That's true. Right there. Corvus Blackstar. It is a flyer.
So you can only take 3 of them. I do think Deathwatch are one of the armies that don't get hit hard.
No.
By the rules.
Because all their stuff costs so much, they're not running 3 of them.
They're not. I mean, with the troop, so much of their strength is in the troops, and the rest of their stuff costs so much. I hope that they get a second HQ choice.
Yes, they really need one. Well, they do have multiple. They have librarians and other stuff.
Sure. But I hope they're more.
They have a watchmaster.
I hope they're more tailored to Deathwatch.
Sure.
If they make those options a little more tailored.
Yes.
They can take some other options.
Yeah. Back in the day, in the previous codex, we have watchmasters, captains, chaplains, and librarians. So they do have 4 HQs.
I mean, I hope they would just add a watch captain and make him a little special, something like that.
That's not named Artemis.
Right.
Sure. Just a generic one.
Named. What's Artemis's Roman name? Be great.
Oh,
right.
I don't know.
Right.
Don't even get me. My classic studies is,
I can't remember.
It's been a long time.
Because Artemis is the Greek.
Mm-hmm. Was it Hephaestus?
No, Hephaestus is the forge guy.
The forge guy. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Moving on, we're gonna switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about Worlds.
Yeah.
So Worlds is going on this week in Minneapolis at FFG headquarters. It's a big annual thing. So it looks like everything that they're doing at Worlds is all the major events are their Star Wars themed games.
Right.
So the finals are there for X-Wing. The finals are there for
Armada.
And
Imperial Assault.
There's even Imperial Assault. They're doing what is it? Star Wars Destiny.
Sure.
Is there. Just a whole bunch of stuff.
Right, Legion is too new to have.
Yeah, Legion is too new.
It's only a month old.
You better bet it'll be there
next year. I'm sure.
Next year for sure.
They've been talked about rolling out their tournament kits for that.
Obviously, we're gonna have to wait and see who's gonna be there. Mars, just off screen. Mars is getting on an airplane, getting on a jet plane tomorrow, and she is. We will be at Worlds, so we will be talking and doing some probably some Facebook Live and just various stuff and reporting. So we will be at Worlds this week.
Yeah, and that means the studio is just gonna be dirty socks, underwear, and the power energy drink strewn across everything.
And that's just Adam's death.
I mean, Larry's already given up on shaving for the week.
Hey! It's only Monday.
Well, it's not going to get better now.
It's so bad.
Monday, if you give up on Monday, you by definition give it up for the entire week.
By the time everyone comes back, I'm going to look like a hipster.
Yeah, he's going to have a nice beard. We're going to get him a man bun to surprise Mars.
No.
I'll be wearing a BoLS shirt. I will be there on Tuesday and Wednesday, so come say hi.
Yeah.
That's right.
If you guys are there, we'll look forward to that. So, I mean...
So, we're gonna have to wait and see what's actually up with the tournament side of things. But from a product side of things, I mean, what do you think is going on with Armada?
With Armada? I mean, we haven't... So, the last wave came out.
It's been like a while.
We haven't had any new announcements in almost half a year for what's coming out, right? Because they announced... well, I guess, yeah, almost half a year. Because they announced the wave that came out last... Wave 6 or 7, I can't remember the exact wave, maybe 5.
But it was the Chimera.
Chimera and the MC75, the Perfidy, they announced that right after Gen Con last year.
Sure.
So at the end of August,
Yep.
I think. So that came out a couple months ago. It's out now. But between that time, about 6 or 7 months now, we haven't had any new announcements for Armada. So...
New ships.
I would imagine there's sometime soon. World sounds like a good time.
Sure.
They've got to make an announcement on some new stuff. For
And
Armada.
I'm sure there's definitely been a variety of ships that they could pull from either the new movies. Armada currently has nothing
Armada
from
is solidly Rebellion era right now.
Right. I was like, there's nothing from the new movies, but there's probably a variety of ships from Rebels that they could pull if they wanted to. They've already pulled several.
They've pulled a number.
Pulled several already.
They've pulled most of the big ones. There's not actually a ton of ships from Rebels they haven't pulled already.
Okay.
So, I mean, one option could be that they are going to bring Resistance and First Order into the game.
Sure.
And that would actually make sense why we had a delay in the release, because they obviously couldn't have announced anything until the movies came out, probably. So that might have pushed some of those announcements back. Since The Last Jedi came out, we do actually have enough Resistance. We did see some Resistance ships. So you could get the Raddus, the big Rebel flagship, and then some fighter squadrons versus one of the new Star Destroyers.
Sure.
The Finalizer class, I think they're called.
Yeah.
They've changed the name.
How do you know that?
They've changed the name, so I believe it's called the Finalizer class.
Okay.
But I think that I'm not sure if that's the original name and they changed it to another one, or that's the name that they changed it to. Trying to remember.
So,
but
fingers
Finalizer
crossed.
class and then those TIE fighters. The only problem I had with that idea, aside from that, it'd be very bare bones. It would just be it would be back to like Wave 1 of Armada, right?
Sure.
It would be 2 ships and some fighters.
Right.
Is that both of those ships are supposed to be, like, the Finalizer class is, I think, 3 times bigger
than Star Destroyer?
Than a Star Destroyer.
Right, so it'd be really large.
And the Raddus is about 3 times bigger than an MC-80 right now.
So they'd be mega ships.
They are, they are very big.
And if you're going to do that, just do a Super Star Destroyer.
I mean, you got to wonder at that point. So that would be really stretching the scale. I mean, it would be cool, but...
there's also there's like an almost... I mean, there are hundreds of Rebellion era ships.
Sure.
That they could move into in all directions. Just more Imperial, more Rebel, Scum and Villainy, whatever they wanted to do.
I mean, the one we've been expecting for a long time is, I butchered the pronunciation, but it's the Brehatak gunship.
Okay.
So it's the only ship, I believe, from the original trilogy
that
has not been released. You barely see it. It's in the Battle of Endor.
Oh,
it's like this tiny little weird thing that's a Rebel ship. It actually shows up in Rogue One at Scarif, though.
Okay. That's interesting.
And then it shows up in Rebels a couple times where they have them. They don't focus on them ever, but
that would be a ship
that
would be like an actual combat version of like a flotilla, probably.
Yeah,
it'd be an actual like it's a small ship, but it's there to fight.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit smaller than like a CR-90.
Okay.
The Rebel Blockade Runner.
Sure.
But they are a combat ship, and they've been in 2 movies and a TV show. So they're one of the most well-represented in film ships in Star Wars in some ways.
Not in Armada.
And they're not in Armada.
All right.
So they do fill a weird role, but that's one ship we've been expecting for a long time to come out, is something like that.
Okay.
The Imperials are actually really well represented right now, so we're just kind of seeing where Armada's going to go. They've definitely gone to a slower release. Last year we only got 1 release the entire year, which was that wave. So we're just kind of gonna see where that goes. Perhaps a new faction, right?
Right.
This might be the time that they announce a third faction. That's what everyone's really hoping for that.
Scum and Villainy.
Yeah,
I
great.
really want Armada's Coming Villainy really bad.
I mean, if they
could go in so many different ways.
They go in so many ways. I mean, if you want ideas for Armada, there's an old PC game called from like 2005, 2006 called Star Wars Empire at War.
Oh, I remember that.
Which is a big, like a Total War game for Star Wars, basically.
Sure.
Right? There's all the little planets, and you build on them, and you go fight real-time strategy battles in them, and it actually has a really active modding community. In fact, it got a update from the developer doesn't even exist anymore, really.
Oh, and the fan community?
No, the developer, like, who's been bought out and has made a game in, like, years, like, did an update on Steam, like, last year for this game. That's, like, 11 years old, and they were like, we're adding mod support, and we're fixing multiplayer so you can do multiplayer.
Just because we love you guys.
Because we love it, and it has a really active modding community that makes some really great mods.
Crazy.
I mean, I've played this game within the last 3 months.
Wow.
And this is like an 11-year-old game.
That's pretty good.
But if you go check it out, that has so many ideas for ships, obviously. Sure. If you needed an idea for ship or for Legion, for ground units and stuff, like go look at that game, and it will give you all the options you could ever want.
Moving from big, giant, super huge ships all the way over to the other side, let's talk about Legion. Legion, not going to be, clearly, there is no Legion event at Worlds, but it's the big new hotness, and, what have we seen? Where do you think it's going next? If there were going to be announcements, what would you expect? I know what I'm expecting.
I mean, I would expect possibly some
Death Troopers.
Yeah, Death Troopers are obviously. I mean, they got announced. Hopefully, they'll announce some new stuff again. Right now, they announced the Rebel Special Forces unit.
Yep.
And Han Solo. So we know from whatever wave that is, if FFG is keeping to its normal strategy of releasing waves.
Yep.
Though I will say, I don't think I've seen them actually refer to waves for Legion yet.
No, there's just releases.
Yeah, people have talked about waves and called things waves, but that's all fan stuff. I don't think FFG has ever actually said wave yet. Yeah,
and maybe I think that's actually a good thing.
And I think it is,
because I think that Legion, it's not X-Wing, it's not Armada. This is a different, it is a different game. It's a different type of game. It's a game like we see from other manufacturers. Legion is in the, it's not a game in the model of other FFG games. This is a game that is in the vein of Warhammer 40,000 and the game of War Machine. It's that type of thing, and it just needs continual.
It needs stuff to be coming out a lot.
There's just units for it,
right? And the wave thing works good for their other games, but it does make it so that you're basically waiting every 3 or 4 months. Every faction gets a ship or two, right? Something like that. So every 3 or 4 months you get 4 releases, which is cool. Especially if you're only playing from like a meta standpoint, but especially from a hobbyist and having to build up your forces and things like that, and keeping interest in a new game, you do want a constant stream of releases.
Sure.
So we've seen the Rebel Special Forces, their troopers, and Han
and Solo. And Solo.
So even if we're not doing a wave structure, one can imagine that the next release after that would be the Imperial counterpoint to that.
Right. And how is the counterpart to Han Solo and Commandos not Death Troopers and Krennic? Krennic would be
Krennic would be really
Director Krennic. He'd be a really cool, just like a ground commando.
Yeah.
He's he's an intelligence agent, so he could definitely have like with the weird way that like missions are done.
He could have some weird mission stuff.
He could have like he has weird he could easily come with custom missions that actually or he can just alter it or do weird stuff like that to represent that he knows what's going on because he's an intelligence agent.
That's definitely a great option. I've heard rumors of like scout troopers, not on bikes, but
scout troopers on foot.
Yeah, like snipers, snipers and stuff.
Interesting.
That was a rumor that was going around. So that would be it makes sense for a counterpart to the Rebel snipers.
Sure.
Scout snipers also. Sure. I'm sure Death Troopers are going to come at some point.
Oh
we can't discount that, but something like that could be interesting. Another thing that I thought was interesting is just a week or two ago they announced a bunch of new Imperial Assault expansions.
Yes, they did.
And that's all the Lothal stuff. So that's all stuff from the Rebels TV show. That's the Phoenix Squad, all the heroes from that,
FFG,
Thrawn and stuff like that.
FFG they clearly put a lot of weight in product choices on Rebels. Which completely makes sense, right? That's the big Star Wars show. It's in production. That is what if you like Star Wars, and and in particular if you're
a younger kid or young adult,
you're watching Rebels, so
Yeah.
why not pull things right out?
Definitely.
They definitely are not. I would actually say they're almost skewing towards Rebels.
Right now they are.
Than the movies.
Than the movies, I think so, because the Rebels is more in people's faces, right?
Sure.
And the Rebels takes place in the same time period that they do stuff in.
Yeah.
What'll be really interesting is when the new show Resistance comes out.
Sure.
Which, if you haven't paid attention, Lucasfilm and Disney and all that, they announced that they're putting out a new show. It's headed by the same guys who did Rebels and Clone Wars.
Yep.
Dave Filoni, I believe is how you say his name.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. He's executive producing it this time, so I don't know how much involved he is, but he is involved with it, and it's going to be more anime-esque, is what we've heard.
Yep.
And it's specifically
Cool.
set a couple years, I think, before The Force Awakens.
Okay.
Following a Resistance pilot, and Poe Dameron's going to be in it, voiced by Oscar Isaacs. BB-8's going to be in it. I believe Captain Phasma's going to be in it.
Actually got Isaacs is doing
Isaacs,
it.
they said he's going to come voice it.
That's interesting.
And Gwendolyn Christie is going to be voicing Phasma for it.
What are they doing?
Yeah.
They don't have careers with other weight they do.
Filoni's kind of inspiration for it is World War II pilots and aces.
Right.
So
Okay.
it's very pilot focused.
It's very pilot focused.
Which is gonna be cool.
It's going to be cool. I wonder if that's going to change what FFG releases. Or,
Sure.
I mean, that's obviously...
If you have a TV show that's set in the
Resistance era.
Resistance era, I think you would very quickly see FFG start to move kind
towards
of
that.
in that direction
And
too.
I mean,
Reasonable assumption.
if you're FFG and you make a game about dogfighting X-Wings, and
Oh, yeah.
and there's a TV show about dogfighting X-Wings,
you're like, hey.
yeah, I mean, maybe you look for inspiration.
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
So I think that would not surprise me if we start seeing stuff from that TV show brought
Okay.
in pretty quickly. But back to Rebel. But the interesting thing to me about the Rebel stuff that came out for Imperial Assault
Sure.
is if you are a company and you make 2 miniature games in Star Wars,
Yes.
and you spend a bunch of money to develop miniatures for one of those games,
Right. Maybe the other one too.
right? Do you just? I mean, obviously we know that the Imperial Assault miniatures and the Legion miniatures
Are different.
Are different
They
miniatures.
are different.
But this is probably one of the first times that they've been developing them when both games have been around.
Sure. Yep.
So I mean, how hard would it have been to make extra sculpts that are the
Right.
size of Legion, something like that? So
Sure.
I mean, to me, if I was looking at things,
That's your strong hint.
that's my strong hint
Okay.
that
Sure.
those things are probably going to come for Legion at some point.
Okay. I'll give you that.
If I'm reading the room, shall we say?
X-Wing.
Yeah.
So X-Wing, the big tournament is going to be there over the next this week. So we will get to see what kind of crazy squadrons are going on. The big news for X-Wing was FFG just announced as part of the Saw Gerreras.
Yeah, the Saw's Rebels or Saw's Renegades.
Saw's Rebels. That there was a new expansion cards and kind of a reworking of the venerable X-Wing.
T65.
The
yeah.
game that the ship that the game is named after, that all of the X-Wing players have just kind of been lamenting for a long time.
So, I mean,
and a pretty big shakeup.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. It has a reversible. They have finally, because people have been talking for years about how do you fix the X-Wing? How do you fix the X-Wing? They gave it integrated astromech a couple of years ago,
which helped it a little bit.
Which helped it a little bit,
not
but
much.
it still wasn't enough. But
And
now
then they killed Biggs. Again.
Kill Biggs,
Yeah.
Nobody weeps for the end of the Big Scourge.
No one weeps for Biggs, but it did really kill off
Oh, sure.
the X-Wing. That was the only way you were seeing the X-Wing, the T-65
but,
show
But
up.
that just proved that the ship had a problem.
Absolutely,
If the only reason
absolutely.
you're taking the ship is because you want to take the one guy, if the only reason you play Ultramarines is because you want to play Guilliman, you have a problem with that dude.
Sure.
The only reason you're taking X-Wings is because you want to get Biggs. Biggs is the problem.
Biggs was the problem.
So, but what they did was they've introduced, and it is a really major shakeup.
Well, there's 2 shakeups.
Yeah. The first one is that there's a refit card for it.
Renegade refit, I think is what
which
it's
is
called.
-2 points.
-2 points.
You lose the torp slot.
Yep. But you can have 2 modifications.
Yep.
And your pilot, your EPT, your elite pilot skills or training, whatever the technical term for it is, are reduced by 1 point, I believe, in cost.
So, pretty spicy. That right there probably does a lot.
But, I mean,
to
right,
fix the
right off the
X-Wing.
bat, I mean, even
That's like a 15% point decrease.
That's for any of the good guys. That's 3 points off.
Yep.
Not a lot of them were actually taking torpedoes because ordnance is kind of
Yep.
an iffy thing, especially on an X-wing where it can't be a giant ordnance silo
Sure.
and shoot a bajillion of them.
Right, it just has the one.
So that right there, and getting 2 modifications is also pretty great.
Yep, because you're gonna have all kinds of crazy shenanigans.
All kinds of crazy shenanigans, and it's not a title, so I don't know if there are any X-wing titles right now. I'm trying to think so, because it's not a title, but I don't think there are any X-wing titles, because they never gave it like a Rogue Squadron or anything like that. But it was interesting that it's not a title. It's just it's a torpedo slot.
Okay.
So you got that, and then you got
the big one.
The big one,
which is it comes now with, so X-wings have a 0-point reversible card. I think it's a modification.
It is a modification, which is why it's important which is one of the reasons why it's important that you can take 2 modifications.
Right, and it's an S-foil card. So now, just like in the movies, every turn at the start of your activation, you choose, does your X-wing have its S-foils? There we go, just like that. Lock S-foils in attack position or close them, and whichever mode you're in, you gain a benefit. If you have your foils closed, you gain boost.
You lose an attack dice.
You lose an attack dice, dropping you to 2.
You gain boost, and your banks turn into greens.
Yes. So you're not going to see it a lot,
right?
But if you need to move and get somewhere, you're in a bad position, you're chasing someone, maybe you're running down the clock and you just need to get the heck out of dodge, you're going to see that. But when your S-foils are in the attack position, all kinds of interesting things happen.
You gain barrel roll, and then you get talon rolls on your 3s.
You can choose to make your 3 banks talon rolls, and they become red if you conditionally if you want to. So you can still use them as banks, or they can become red talon rolls. So the ship just got really amazingly squirrely.
Yeah,
it's going to be able to pull off. So all T-65s are going to be able to really pull off some weird maneuvers.
Really weird stuff.
Like talon rolls are pretty. You can end up in some. I mean, you can really jump around and kind of flip around all over the place with those talon rolls if you know what you're doing.
If you know what you're doing, definitely. Barrel is great. I think you're probably not going to see a lot of, like you said, flying in the close position, because losing an attack dice is a big thing.
It is a really big thing. Yep.
T-65s are there to kill things. They're not there to support you. But
you're getting all that at the minus 3 points.
Oh no, sure, definitely. It's still great because I think you'll see it, like you said, in those weird situations where you need to run away. Or I think you might see it on the first turn a lot.
Sure.
To boost into a good position when you're in that position.
Just kind of surprise people.
You're out of range. You know you're out of range.
Sure.
So you're going to use that. It does. I'm trying to remember if it says you lose an attack dice or you lose one from your primary dice.
I don't remember.
If it only
I
says
don't have the card. I don't have the card right here.
Yeah. If it only says your primary dice goes down, you could see people using it with torpedoes.
Sure.
And using the boost, because you're then losing the attack dice doesn't affect you for that turn.
Yeah,
because you're going to use a secondary weapon.
I don't know.
I'd have to double check that. So it's pretty great because of that, and barrel roll and talon roll is really good.
Yeah.
Getting a couple points off your X-wings.
So
brings them down pretty significantly.
I'm overall totally ecstatic. The X-wing has been one of just the kind of the big, thorns in the side of the game for a long time, and it was just especially galling because the game. I mean, it's the fighter, right? The game is named after it, and it really needed to be, better, and I think they've actually solved it. So I think really excited about that. So and we'll see who takes the finals at X-wing.
And I do think it's also cool that the Renegade refit also works for the U-wing, just to point out. It's an X-wing and U-wing.
Oh yeah, that is weird.
So the U-wing is probably one of the worst ships in the game right now.
And now it's better.
It does get the ability to get 2 points cheaper and get 2 modifications, which is kind of cool for it.
Right, we're going to push this over here. Here we go, guys. Moving on.
Woo!
Are you guys ready for this?
So Larry, tell us a little bit about the background behind this. You know some of this.
This is Heroes of Blackreach Drop Zone issue number 1. This is a board game.
So it's not the 4th edition, 5th edition starter box.
No, not at all. And this is from this is a licensed 40K version of a game system. This is put out by iello, and it's also put out by Devil Pig, and it uses the Heroes system tactical scale
Mm-hmm.
game system. So this system exists for like World War II and kind of other game systems, but this is here it is applied to Warhammer 40,000. This, as you can see, it's a flat pack because it's all cardboard and tiles.
That's because it's a demo copy.
It is a demo copy, and we're going to open this up. On the back of it, we have age 14 plus, 2 players. Thank you for these, and a play time of 30 minutes.
What comes in this, real quickly? We've got
right here on the contents.
This is Ultramarines and Orcs.
Yep.
You get a tactical squad. You get a Rhino. Ooh. Brother Malkian. Yeah, I like McCallum better.
Okay.
You got a boys band.
It's so good. There's a boys band.
There's one boys band.
I love it.
Truck. One truck.
And
one battlefield. 24 action cards. 1 rule and a scenario book. I'm just gonna like call it right here. I feel like a tactical squad, a Rhino, and a Space Marine brother, who I guess is their squad
Brother
leader.
Malkian.
I guess he's their squad leader.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna be able to beat 1 boys band and 1 truck.
You are incorrect.
Just now, when you order the core rule box, the core game box that's currently on pre-order at heroesofblackreach.com.
Okay.
What we have is a demo pack. You're getting a lot more with the actual game.
Okay. So
I dropped a link for it in chat.
Okay. So
all your boys bands turn into men.
All right, we're taking the stream crap off.
Ooh.
We have no idea what is inside this.
I mean,
whoa!
I think
First
it's
of
a
all,
tactical squad, a Rhino,
Okay.
Brother McCallan, a boys band,
It's Brother Malkian.
Malkian.
Brother Malkian. All right.
So
Throwing that away. All right, you ready? Here we go.
This has some
Slip
cards.
cover.
Ooh.
Remember, this is just a little demo version, so you guys can see it. We're gonna put
Alright.
that over here. So you have a set of cards.
I have Drop Zone number 1.
I have instructions.
Ooh, okay.
Please visit our website. We have all the. We'll go through that really well. We'll go through all these components individually. We have the instructions. I have
There's the battlefield.
There's the battlefield. It is poster. Heavy.
It's out of reach.
Heavy card poster. No, heavy weight paper. And then there's the 2 punch cards right here. This one is Marines. This one is Orcs.
How could you tell?
Well, they're Ultramarines, so they're blue, and they're Orcs, so they're red and green. There's no green appears on the Space Marine tile, and no blue appears on the Orc tile.
That's clever.
Yes.
Clever. I couldn't tell them apart otherwise.
Yeah. Now, if it were like, who's the blue Orc clan?
I mean,
The sneaky guys.
if they were Blood Angels, for instance.
That's true. If they were Blood Angels, if it were Blood Angels versus Orcs, we would.
I have no idea.
And Abe were colorblind, this would be bad. But he's not, so we're all good. Okay, so we're going to go over these in turn, show you guys. First of all, let's open this up really, really quickly so you can see it. Here is our board.
Yeah.
Ta-da! As you can tell, this is a board. This is a board game. So standard square tiles. The tile. We have our instructions. I'll let you take a look at those. Take a look at our tiles.
Oh.
While I'm looking at the instructions,
All right.
and we're going to see what kind of game this is because we don't know. Drop zone number 1. Our instruction book is.
So I'm just gonna start breaking things here.
Oh, don't start taking stuff out. Okay, so we
Why
have 24 pages. Here we go. And then this is what you guys really want to see. So this little teeny tiny section, little starter game that we have, this is the actual core box. It is a very large, full boxed game. And then there are expansions. There's an Ultramarine Reinforcements expansion and an Orc Reinforcements expansion boxes coming. So there's 3 core products that are part of this line.
And it also has its own storage solution.
Okay, so as an example of how much more stuff you're getting.
Oh, wow.
So as we saw, this little starter thing that we're showing you guys now has a tactical squad and a Rhino and Brother Malkian, and then you get one boys band and a truck, right? So that's what this comes with. When you buy the core box set, you get the following. You get Sergeant Tellian, Chaplain Orad, Tech Marine, a Librarian, a Scout Squad, a Tactical Squad, a Predator, a Razorback, a Land Raider, a Dreadnought, and a Storm Talon gunship.
Nice.
Then the Orcs receive a Goth Warboss, Snakebites, Weird Boy, Evil Sun's Big Mech, Goth Boys, Goth Storm Boys, Evil Sun's Tank Busters, Death Dread, 2 Kilocans, a Battle Wagon, a War Buggy, and a Mech Gun. So substantially more stuff when you buy the core game. So this really is just a little tiny teaser that we're showing you guys.
And if you pre-order, you get extra stuff.
Even better. And then there are reinforcements for the Ultramarines and reinforcements for the Orcs that gives you even more, mech guns, ballista bombers, land speeders. So you get more, not just more of what's in the core box, but new, more exotic units when you buy the Ultramarines and the Orc reinforcements sets. What are you looking at, Abe?
So just looking
you start
at
talking
it,
about that
yeah.
while I'm looking over the rules because we're learning all this live with you guys.
So just looking at it, it's actually pretty intuitive, I think. I'm going to punch some stuff out here so I can show you. So this here is going to be our Space Marine squad. And this is going to represent, I think this is how you build your list, is you're going to have this as your list, basically. And on it, it's going to have its points, it's going to have some stats, and then it's going to show you what parts are in this list. So in it, you get Solanus, who's your sergeant. You get a Melta-Gun, and then you get 2 tactical markers. So this is going to sit by you, and it's going to be your list. And then here, you can see Sergeant Solanus, your tactical squads, and your Melta-Gun. So these are actually going to punch out and be what you move around the table, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And then, inside of here, you've also got these punch-outs. And this is going to be where you can put upgrades into your unit.
Those are your option stripes.
Option stripes.
And yes, the stripes possessed by the units at the center of the tile itself are the specific stripes to the recruitment tile.
Right. So on this recruitment tile, for instance, I see that I have the option I can take a heavy weapon, which I have an option for a heavy bolter or a missile launcher. Mm-hmm. I can take a rhino or grenades, and I have 2 of those options here. So, for instance, if I wanted to add my rhino into my list, I would take this guy here, and then I can, not upside down, but right ways, I can stick my rhino in there. Now I've bought my rhino. It's added into the squad's card. And then I can actually take the rhino model, chit, I guess, and put him on the table. It does look like it has...
Intact and damaged.
Intact and damaged or something like that. Mm-hmm. So there's our rhino and our sergeant running around the table now. Now, it looks like I do have a character as well, who's the brother... Malkitian,
mm-hmm.
who's a Lylan McCrag, and it looks like, and I'm not sure if this is specific to this, but it looks like he attaches to the squad somehow.
Right. There's recruitment tiles; these are the really big ones. Mm-hmm. Then there's support tiles, which are the little ones.
Sure.
And they do.
And they kind of have a weird attachment way that I'm sure has some sort of significance. So he attaches to the squad. He can have his own upgrade. I'm not certain if that's limited or that affects the entire squad. I don't know if he by himself, for instance, can take a rhino or a heavy weapon. That seems a little odd.
And you can take upgrade options. And basically you are using all of these cards, and they all kind of stick into each other, and you're upgrading with either unit upgrades or support upgrades like rhinos, or even down to specific war gear, like you can take better ammo.
Grenades,
and all those things have little point numbers on them, so you basically kind of build this little. You take all of these little modular tiles that all stick into each other in a particular way, and you assemble kind of this little kind of little techno-looking placemat, and that's your army. So we add up all the points, and that's how many points you have.
So for instance, the orcs are pretty interesting. You have here's the core of your orc list, which is the Teeth Breakers, the Goth Boys mob.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then they have option slots, so I could, for instance, add in a Kilocan and the truck into here. So that would add a Kilocan and a truck into this unit.
Yep.
But then I could also buy Sluggas,
right,
which are just more boys, and they can attach on here.
Yep.
And then I can also buy a boss mob, which is the boss.
Yep. And you can just stick him in there.
And he sticks on here. So now out of this whole thing, which is one unit, I guess. Sort of, I have a truck, I have a Kilocan, and I've got a bajillion boys with guns and shooters and sluggas. And my war boss.
And you can see that what Abe has built right there, this is in the first sample scenario, and you can see that these are the 2 sample armies.
Right.
So like there's an orc army that has 4 of those things all stuck together. The Ultramarine army has 2 of them, because the Ultramarine, the Marines are, all these things still have points attached to them. So obviously the Marines cost more.
Well, yeah, the basic boys are 80 points, and the basic Marines are like 185.
Woo!
So significantly more expensive. And then it'll tell you how many, and then on each of these it'll tell you what these actually let you field on the battlefield. So for instance, the boys give you 4 of these Shuda Sluggas, Sudas, and then you can get Sluggas from the Slugga Boys, and then you can put them around on your battlefield. They can advance. They can go back into town, which is where the boys belong. All kinds of fun things.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty intuitive system, I think, for building armies.
This is a well-established system that has been around for years and is very popular. So this is just bringing 40K into it. So this is a good solid game system from a rules point of view. As you'd expect, there's an order phase where you're going to be assigning order tokens to all of your units. There's an activation phase. You're going to be activating them. During their activation, you can move them. There's all the different rules for affecting, how they move, plus how they interact with the terrain. The sample board obviously there's a fixed table with terrain on it, and then you're going to be taking your various actions. You can fire, you can move. There's a supply phase at the end of each turn, and then there's a couple pages here on how the battlefield works. And there are you will note that on our table, some of these, there are certain there are certain squares that have that are color coded and have little numbers associated with them, and those are things that can affect movement or can affect cover, which is your chances of being hit. So you have this whole thing.
Well, that's pretty cool. Overall, I like the art. It's pretty cool art. I think everything looks pretty 40K-ish. I'm happy that on the actual card, it is a boys mob, not a boys band.
Hooray!
Because that is much more the proper terminology.
That is correct.
As much as boys band just cracks me up. But
and
I'm
then
trying to think of a good boys band song, but I can't.
It's okay. And then of the rule, so the rule, the little introductory rule book here is 24 pages. Of the 24 pages, 2 of them is catalog of all of the full of the actual products when they come out, and the last 2, 4, and the last 6 pages of it, the last 10 pages of it, so half of the book entirely is setting up and playing the 1 sample game, and then you get 2 full sample turns all the way through, to guide you into this game. So the actual core rules themselves, learning the system, the core rules of this game are approximately 12 pages. So it's pretty small.
If 40K only needs 8 pages for the tabletop
That's
game,
true.
Why does the simplified board game need more than 8 pages?
Maybe it's not a simplified board game. So this one looks really exciting. We have a question. What do we got?
Is it combat card or dice driven?
I don't.
There are dice.
Are there dice?
There are dice.
Don't appear to be dice that come in the box.
I believe it's a D6 system.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm looking really quick.
Oh, we did not mention that there are these cards here.
Yes, there are cards. Yes, so like as an example, in the resolving the assault, the attacker rolls. So there are dice.
There are dice.
This is a D6 system.
It does look like you modify that with cards at times.
Oh, there's a bunch of show those.
Cards here.
There's a lot of cards.
I don't 100%. These look like order cards you can give or something like that.
I'm going to look at that really quickly while you're showing.
They are very clearly divided into an Ultramarine and a Orc deck.
Okay.
So they have abilities such as
action cards.
Yeah.
Action cards spice up the game and make your battles more heroic. Each player has his own deck of action cards that are specific from faction to faction. At the beginning of the game, you draw a hand of action cards, and at the end of each game turn, you draw back up to your full hand. So there's no reason to hoard them, and each action card can be played in 2 ways. You can play it as a battle event or as an alternative bonus.
Okay.
So you can use them to do a particular thing or just to gain a bonus. Some action cards show an alternative bonus. This is a modifier that you can apply to another action to give a unit a chance to make an armor save. Simply play the card and apply the bonus, then discard the card immediately.
Right. So you can see that they've got them here. That's the alternative bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So this card, for instance, I can play, it's called Second Chance. I could play it to give +1 to any die roll.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Or I can play it as its main ability,
Sure.
which is reroll or make someone reroll 1 or more dice and apply the new result.
Ooh, that's mean.
Which seems much better than +1.
Yeah, I like that.
So this is the Chaos Lord card.
We like it already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all we have, we have. Yeah. So those are just kind of the shenanigans deck.
Right,
They're there to give both
deck.
player, and you're going to get a hand of them, and at the end of each turn, you draw back up to your max. So you're going to be moving around and doing stuff, and you're going to be messing with each other.
I enjoy this particular one, which is titled No, and cancels someone else's action card.
Does it say that like you have to say no loudly?
I wish it did. It is no exclamation point.
I have
just
no.
cancel it. Our action card. They take it back to their hand and they can use it next turn.
Let me tell you, I'm just gonna keep this card and I'm gonna try to use this the next time I play 40k and see and see if it works, because this is a card 40k needs really bad.
So it's interesting. The art is very. Oh, so they do. So I think these may be the same, mostly for both people, because there's the Ultramarine version of Second Chance, and then there's the Orcs have the same card, except it's slightly different. Interesting.
Is it called like No Way?
No, it's called Second Chance.
Oh.
It has the same ability, except it adds +1 to the ammo thing.
Oh, okay.
The bullet icon.
Yeah.
Instead of +1 to reroll. So that's interesting that they're the same name and have the same ability, but different secondaries. So I wonder if the secondaries are random or something. Who knows?
So you guys got to take a look at that with us. We have another question. What do we got?
Yeah.
Sam,
what is the player count? And I can actually answer that one for you, for our YouTube audiences, since we're moving this one over.
Yep.
So what is the player count, 2 or 2+? The system this game is actually based on is large enough to do apocalypse level battles. I believe with just the starter set, it's 2 players, but as you add onto it, you can make those games bigger.
Yeah,
so
this,
it's meant to scale.
Yeah, this one specific, just this little, the little teaser thing specifically has 2 players, but on the back of...
And not for ages of 0 to 3.
This is true. So if your age is 0 to 3...
cardboard, so I assume they will just eat it. And I assume that's more for the safety of the game than the children?
We're not even going to go there. Yeah, it does not say anything on the 2 pages with it just lists contents of the larger box set. So I can't answer that based off this, but
as Mars said, yeah.
As Mars said, this system looks like it is designed for multiplayer.
It's based on a system that was originally made for a World War II game,
Mm-hmm.
and I've seen games played with that particular game of up to about 15 people.
Wow. But that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions about it? We will definitely be doing, you got to do this with us live on our talk show, and but we will be playing this in the future and doing an actual, more of a full formal unboxing of it. And because I really want to play this now.
I think it looks pretty cool. Definitely.
I love games like this because they're just so they're portable.
They're very
it's
portable.
so easy to just be like,
yeah.
I'm just like going to keep this in like a little thing and just take it over to my friend's house. You can take it on the road or whatever you want to.
One of the things that you really enjoy.
And hey, being able to like do stuff in the 40th millennium, be done in 30 minutes.
Hey,
sign me up for that.
I do really also enjoy. They have like the normal, and then they have like the reduced or hurt chips for everything, and it goes down from like having 4 boys to 2 boys. So they actually did.
Everything is nice and double-sided.
Yep, and they did extra artwork and everything to make it look good.
Yeah, the quality of these tokens, these are really, really nice. Mm-hmm. It's really good art. It's really well done. It's very heavy cardstock. It's pretty thick. So this is not just kind of like chintzy tokens. This is done really, really well.
Right.
Like these, like you will be able to play with these a lot, and they will be fine.
Right. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it for us today.
It is called the BoLS Tabletop Hour,
yep.
And the Servo Skull has told us that our hour is almost up. He's going to turn off the feed and send us back into the Techno Dungeon.
Dun, dun, dun.
But we did want to tell you guys on Wednesday. What time on Wednesday?
6 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern.
Okay, so everybody come back in 2 days because we have Ross Watson. Ross Watson, the head designer for the new 40k role-playing game, Wrath and Glory, he is going to be here.
This is the premiere of the game publicly, so this is the first time you'll be able to see this and exclusively with us.
Like anywhere in the world. So we got 4 of our we have a crack team of 4 role-playing people that'll be playing 4 different player characters set in the Imperium. Ross is going to be the game master, and you're going to get to see what the new 40k RPG is going to be like. We're going to play a one-shot adventure here on Wednesday in 2 days. So everyone come back. It's going to be great.
6 to 10. Yeah.
6 to 10 Central.
Central Time.
Eastern. Sorry.
I always say Eastern because it's easier to calculate GMT off of Eastern than Central.
So, Ross Swanson, Warhammer 40,000 Wrath and Glory, 2 days from now.
Yeah. It'll be good.
I'm all good.
Yeah.
You good?
I'm good. All right, that's our hour. I'm Abe.
And I'm Larry.
We'll see you on Wednesday and see you on Monday after that.
Yep. And we'll catch you on Wednesday, and we'll catch you next week. Have a great one, guys.
You're good.
Totally.
Don't forget to subscribe. Support us on Patreon. Thanks for